Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine Podcast Radio. You're about to listen to an episode of Through the TechVine. So be quiet, pay attention, and get inspired. There is one truth that is not told enough. Technology is not magic, but it can be magical. Technology is human. It is part of who we are, our evolution, our future. Will it be a dystopian or utopian one? Well, that is up to us and nobody else. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
And welcome through the tonic water.
What's the number?
The tonic water syrup, yeah.
Through the tonic water.
On you,
instead of
it'll
the
change your
TechVine.
life.
It's a new show.
W.
We talk about tonic water
Okay, like it. That's all we're going to talk about.
all day. Just for an hour, we talk about tonic water.
Yeah.
No, that's how we started. Is it because it's hot? Because that's still hot here. I know we like to talk about the weather when we start, just so people don't feel too bad where they are, or too good.
Well, I'm wearing my black hat today, just in honor of everybody who is in Vegas and everybody who's not.
Does it mean that you are in Vegas?
Yeah, are you in Vegas?
Are you in Vegas?
I may or may not be in Vegas.
Do you have a clone in Vegas?
I have a clone in Vegas.
Your AI is in Vegas.
AI Sean is in Vegas.
Let's be clear, I am not in Vegas. You won't find me, although I love many people there. You're not going to find me in Vegas.
I made a post last night on LinkedIn. Some of you may have seen it. And it was the last time that Sean and I were in Vegas with the badge from the DEF CON 2019. And I said, we would love to be there, but we're going to wait a little longer. But I think some people get the idea that we were actually about to go there. So my message, I guess, it was a little too optimistic. And so, some friends are like, stay safe. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I'm in my house.
Super safe at home.
Like, dude, I want to meet up. Yeah.
But we have people that we have many friends that are there. So I hope everybody's staying safe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't even know what the DEF CON badge looks like this year. I'm sure it's pretty cool.
I think
you know what it looks like? It's like a 3D cube or something.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think so.
But flat, if I had to guess. So it looks 3D.
Did you say a 3D cube but flat?
I think so.
Oh, we're really going crazy here.
I know.
Two-dimensional representation of it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I
thought
No, it may make me think. How freaky.
That's what I thought from seeing it online. But
How freaky are those 3D painting on the street? Have you ever seen them?
Yeah.
That they do it really looks like you're going downstairs or there is a hole and an entire city underneath. I have no idea how. Talking about perspective to the next level, it's incredible.
And
So go ahead, Diane.
Well, just because it's one thing to be an artist, but then they also have to have that extra bit of artistry to understand how our eyes are going to interpret it. And, I know, I agree. I see some of those and, or like a wall, it looks like you can walk into it. And I'm like, I don't even, how do they know?
It's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. It's nothing more to it than magic.
Okay. All right. Well, it's magic then.
Yeah. So I guess
just accept it, Diana. It's magic. You don't need to know how it works. It's just magic.
They're trying to figure it out. Science, who cares?
that's why we're here, right? To
what? To present
advertise magic things. Technology is magic.
We're certainly talking about innovative things that change how we view perspective. You use the word, Marco. Change our perspective on the world, right?
Yeah, but helping to know a little.
That was very convincing.
Well, I want magic, but I don't want to be sold on things that
magic too. You used to live next
magic.
to one of the most famous magic places in LA.
Oh, that castle?
The Magic Castle?
The Magic
Ooh.
Castle.
Did you ever see
Full of magic.
What's
And
his name?
food. That's food.
Neil Patrick Harris, right? Doesn't he always go to the Magic Castle?
I wish I did. I love that guy. I mean, I one of my favorite TV show ever is How I Met Your Mother, and he is just amazing. His character is fantastic. But yeah, no, I went there once. And it's an experience. It's a club, right? It's a private club for a magician. You need to be a licensed magician to be a member there, and then you can only go there if you're invited by someone that is a member there. So it's kind of like this exclusive thing. And then it depends on who is there. This magician, they go there, they get certain boots, and they do some magic trick, and they're pretty good. But it's really random. You never know what you're going to find, except the dinner, a piano to play itself, and a few other things. But I went before the big fire. You remember, Sean? You got on fire. Yeah. So
I was there. No, I'm not going to say.
You were there during the fire.
Right before.
I want to know how do you become a licensed musician? Like a licensed magician, there's like a body that licenses. Do you have to pass a magic test to get licensed? I'm fascinated about how that works.
I think I don't know the details. Sean, do you know? I know it's kind of like it's a society.
Wow. Pay your dues, like you're in like ACM or IEEE or.
I can Google that for you if you want.
I mean, I think I'm gonna have to investigate after.
Yeah, I went with a friend from my semantic days many years ago. Some of the listeners may know Dave Perry from semantic days, and he's a licensed magician, a member of the Magic Castle, and I was his guest. And it was very cool. Dave was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time at the time I went. So we didn't say that about the food, but the show was good.
Yeah, it's like going to the what is it, the Knights one where they do the jousting and all that medieval times.
The medieval fair.
Yeah, and you go for the show, which is and the food is even less. It's the full package experience, Mark.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's the mead.
It is. And because it's magic, it's very connected with technology. Because when they actually eventually, there are those magicians that by their rule, their code of conduct, they can give away. But when, certain things that they're pretty well known, they explain it. And there's two kind of magic usually there. There is the technical magic. So they use tech, mirrors and smokes and all that kind of stuff, and special effect, visual effect. And there is the one that is the social engineering, if we want to talk about cybersecurity. Look here, and I'm going to do something here. I'm going to distract you. I'm going to play with your head. And that's pretty magic too. All righty, but this is not. Yeah.
For further distraction. Exactly.
Now, I used to, well, let's say we are still friends, although I've been speaking a long time. He's a quantum professor, a researcher, and he's been working was working on the first quantum computer in Canada with a company there. I think the name was D-Wave, whatever. That's I think they're still around. But he was also a teacher, a science teacher, and he met a magician, and he exchanged a physics lesson with some basic magician lesson, because he could use the magician technique to explain physics to their students and capture their attention. So,
did you say mathematician?
Mathematician? Math? It's a mathematician. Oh, wow. Okay. Did you just make that word up?
Well, I thought I heard you say that, so I was going to give you the
We thought you said it. We loved it.
Not a mathematician.
You got me. You got me. I said it.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I know. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool like that. Even when I don't
our word of the day, mathematician.
The word of the day. Let's get into what is the day about. What is the day about? I was going to do a little recap maybe of the things that we've talked in the past, but I feel like we're going to burn a lot of time by doing that. And today
I'll do it then.
I get something dark, so I'm not going to skip my my news today.
Okay.
Sean, you're good at recapping. Recap.
Recapping.
You have a cap too, so
I do have a cap. It's cap day here on through the TechVine, and I don't know. Let's see. We talked about snails. We talked. I don't know if my memory's.
Well, I have the list in front of me. I prepared.
All right. You have the list. You go for it.
I'm going to go just to what we did last time. Last time we talked about the discovery of the radio pulsar and how the woman, Jocelyn Bell Burnell, that discovered it, got nothing for it until only a few days ago. And some dude got the Nobel Prize for it. So we were not happy about that.
No.
And then we talked about wearable, life-changing medical device. Sean was talking about some smart glasses. And then we talk about, can we trust machines? And then in the past, we talk about artificial intelligence. We go a lot into environmental topics, I think, because we care about the environment and what technology can do for that. And sometimes we go to space. It's usually with me, you go to space. And then we talked about a lot of stuff like, medical related stuff, because it's very important what technology does for medicine. And do we have something innovative today? Something that maybe we haven't talked about before? I see some heads shaking. Some, maybe, I don't know. Let's go. Diana.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about robots and AI before, but I thought that this was a sort of an interesting take on it, which is talking about dog and cat robots. And it's in the news in part because Hyundai just purchased a company that does a quote unquote dog robot. But dog robots have been around for a while. We've seen like these sort of cartoon character animatronic ones at theme parks, for example, and you can see they've built dog robots or pet robots, sometimes cats, and they put fur on them and they help the elderly or those who are lonely to have something that they can pet that'll purr at it or bark. So there have been these different kinds of robots around, but
we kind of talked about that, if you remember.
Yeah. But these robots aren't actually designed to be dogs per se. So really, if you think about what's one of the most stable ways to get around that's quick, it's 4 legs. 4 legs, there's a reason that there are so many critters with 4 legs, is it's a nice stable form factor and you can move around easily. And then knees are another thing that are incredibly good when you're going up difficult terrain. So if you wanted to have a robot that was going to be able to move quickly around different kinds of terrain, something that's 4-legged would kind of resemble a little bit of a table. But then we'd with the knees and everything, how do you make it a little bit more palatable to humans? You could kind of lean in and call it, say it's like a robotic dog. So that's what's known, is that there's this robotic dog out there called Spot, and the company that makes it was just recently purchased by Hyundai. But Spot has been being used by police departments, and in a couple of ways that have been helpful, but also controversial. So one use of Spot was the Honolulu Police Department took some of their pandemic relief funds and they purchased a Spot. And Spot was used to go to people before they were allowed into shelters to check their temperatures, to see if they had COVID before they could go to a temporary shelter. Spot would check it that way. I mean, there's a good benefit for humans here because no human has to get potentially sick by going up to another sick person. You can just have Spot take the temperature. They also could do intake interviews in a safe way because Spot can open a communication channel. So Spot turns the camera on, the person's on the other safe side of the remote connection, and they're talking to the person in line before they go to the shelter. So that's not a terrible use, although there were some questions about the use of the pandemic funds for Spot, although I think, makes sense what they... The other use of Spot that has been in the news was the New York City Police Department got their own version. They painted it blue and they renamed it DigiDog. And DigiDog was used to do some patrolling areas that can be dangerous for people to go in, or to go in and censor with police when they're responding to things. One video got out of DigiDog responding to a domestic violence call in a housing project and helping the police, but that created such an uproar in New York that DigiDog got returned to the manufacturers. So
sent to the shelter.
Yeah, DigiDog had to go back to the dog shelter, the DigiDog shelter. So my question here is, like, the dog piece seems to me like it's trying to actually make us like these a little bit. I mean, I know you'd call anything a dog, and you see these move around, and they, it's like you say dog, and as human beings, we're so good at context and filling things in. I instantly think dog, and then I feel positive towards it. But I do think that the privacy concerns and some of the concerns from the different advocates about police abuse of tools sometimes to target specific people or specific kinds of people, those should be taken in. So calling it spots cute, but do we feel like this is something that's really aiding people because there is that value of like the temperature part, or is this something that is potentially problematic, or is it just like any technology? It's both. It's a little bit of both.
I'll go. I think it always boils down to how technology is used, right?
Yeah.
So, and one can question if the methods of a police department changed because Spot or DigiDog was introduced, or if it was just a new way to act the same way with a different tool, right?
Yeah,
a different tool. So
yeah,
they may have still been targeting and collecting information and doing certain things in certain ways without that. Then this just made it easier for them to do it without that. And conversely, perhaps there isn't a way to get the information from somebody being rescued by a human being because it just can't get to that part, or perhaps it puts the human being in danger, the rescuer, the first responder in danger. So I think it opens up opportunities there. So it's definitely both from my perspective.
My question is, police always, military and rescue of all sorts, they always use dogs because dogs are, let's say, they're pretty awesome. I mean, we talked about this. Their nose, they got superpower. They're not, they're serious. So other animals as well, but we can't walk around with a cheetah. That's
giraffe.
Weird, or giraffe. But the dog is cute. It's familiar. It's part of who we are. And so the question for me is, well, what's the reason why they decided to create it looking like a dog? Right? Is it because it continues the tradition? Is it because people feel like, oh, look, it's kind of cute like a dog? Because the utility of, the robot sniffing bombs been going on for a very long time, right? The bomb squad is always at that. And other situations.
Robots or dogs? Dog sniffing bombs. And
well, also robots.
Yeah.
Robots that will be sent to remove the bombs, to deactivate the bombs, to put it inside their body because nobody dies. I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going there. Recent events in LA. If you know it, you know what I mean. The other, yes, fireworks. Anyway, so I think the reason that my question is why do they have to look like dogs? Spiders walk pretty good with 6 legs. That
8.
How many? 8?
Maybe even 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we go in and with this big spider instead of? I mean, scientists are researching on that too.
Look.
Worms, snakes, movement, flying. So is that familiarity?
And on that, maybe, the question is, does it actually need to have a head? You said it even had fur, right?
No, you can't. There are some robotic dogs that have fur. These actually don't
Those
have
are therapeutic
heads. They kind of look like walking tables, the DigiDogs, the Spots.
Okay. So are they kind of like the one from that we see the videos here and there? They do the flips and
those look like dogs.
They look like 4 legs animals. I don't know. They look more like hyena to me.
Right.
That's it. It's like a cross between a table and like an animal that looks kind of like a robotic table. But yeah, they because the way that the knees move and they can move up and down, and when it feels
they go up
my
the
brain,
stairs.
and it's called Spot. My brain is like,
That was the point
sure,
I was going to go
Spot.
to. Is regardless of what it looked like, they gave it a name that is often used for a dog, and clearly the police Digidog. There's no
Digidog, yeah.
question about that one. So I don't know why. I'm wondering why why the naming was that way. Is it for the people using it to feel comfortable using it? Is it for the people that are being approached by it? I mean, I don't know if the police are arriving to handle the situation. They're probably not saying, "Let me introduce you to my good friend Digidog." The dog's probably going and doing its business before it even has a name given. So I don't know what the purpose of the name is. Is it for the users or?
It's because I think we have the tendency to make everything human and everything that we are relatable with everything we do. I mean, we talk in the past, and I think we'll talk in the future about humanizing robot. Why do they need to look like that? Because people feel empathy. And so going in a house with something that kind of look like a robot instead of like something that look like a big spider, it's probably gonna go a lot better than that. So, but I think that the bottom line is that we're always gonna have more and more robots that are gonna do the jobs that we don't want to do, or at least again extend our capabilities, both as individual or. I mean, think about if you could have, and you probably will have it, robots that can go in the fire without getting burned and blow an extinguishing chemical that is going to take the oxygen out of the freaking air. I mean, wouldn't we use that? I mean, we're already kind of trying with drones, which of course can't fly because the hot air going up. So that's going to be a problem. But I mean, I think we are going there under the water, in dangerous situation, as you mentioned for the COVID. So I don't think there is a way back, and I don't want it to be a way back, to be honest. That's the beauty of technology. But the question is, why do they look like that?
Well, yeah, and I think that it's true. And are they looking like that so that we have to balance between making people feel comfortable? Because if you were getting your temperature taken by a big creepy spider, that might feel different than if you're getting your temperature taken by something that's called Spot and seems doggy like. But then also, let's maybe not then get lulled into, well, it's just Spot. The dog wouldn't do anything wrong. Well, it's still a robot. It's still controlled by human beings. And so we do have to be careful about the use cases. So the temperature one sounds great. I don't know about some of the other, the negativity of what I read seemed to be a lot around like how the money was being spent and should it be spent other ways, because I do think technology aiding humans and even aiding dogs, right? Because the sniffer dogs the cadaver dogs get depressed apparently if they have to sniff all day and they don't find anybody. So if you had a sensing robot that could go into hard to reach places the way dogs could, but is just looking for a heat signature, and that could indicate, it's most likely if you're under a pile of rubble and there's a lot of heat, it's probably a human. And then the dogs could go in and maybe pinpoint and say, oh, it's right here. So that could even help dog emotional health, because they don't burn out. Exactly. Like they have to hide a human supposedly at the end of the day for some of these dogs. Just so I think
the military is already trying to use those dog robots for, search and rescue, or even attack a mission, where they go ahead, they have a camera, they can sense noise, they have radars and infrared and all of that. So I don't think they're shooting yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
How come we don't make drones look like birds?
I think the answer for that is that the physics of flight, it's pretty complicated. Whomever Mother Nature made those was pretty clever. Although there are, if you look at Ted TED Talk, there are research labs that are able to replicate the flight of a butterfly or a bird. I mean, look at the hummingbirds. I mean, I got a lot of hummingbirds in my garden here.
Yeah.
They're freaking amazing. I mean,
I
they
know.
literally stay steady in the air, flopping their little wings. Like, I mean, they do maneuver that you wish you could have an airplane that can do that. So
Yeah.
it's incredible. Well, we sure love animals. I don't know how we can translate that into robots, but that's kind of leading into my topic. So,
Okay.
You
Sean, I go? I'm not
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
You're not ready.
I got studying about it.
All right.
Oh,
then I'll-
really?
No, I can go. I can
Are you
go.
not ready?
we're gonna
I'm
fight
afraid
arm-
if we
arm
go in
wrestle.
this, Sean,
Yeah.
there's not going to be more
Virtual
time
arm
for
wrestle.
you. We're going to go deep into the dark world.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
It's up to you. We can
You're
skip
ready.
mine. If
You
if
go.
wanna
Ready?
you go.
All right.
Is that a quick one?
We can make it quick.
All right, go.
I think I have an interesting one. It's not new,
I'm sure.
but it's something that continues to evolve. And it's interesting because you talked about the drones and using drones, but it can handle heat and perhaps robots and other things can handle different situations. And that's where my technology comes in because it's 4D printing. Do you know, either of you know what 4D printing is?
No.
Does it have smell?
Not adding senses.
Okay. 4D. Okay, you got me.
Yeah.
I can go
So
to 3D.
It's effectively programming material to respond to stimuli. So it's 3D printing with the added programming to respond to stimuli. So it changes in structure and composition based on heat, moisture, or some of the other things. Let me pull it up here. I mean, it's pretty cool. So, Marco, you love this because it's driven by NASA technology. So the spacesuits use some of this, right? Let's see. Yeah, moisture, temperature, current, electricity, light, and magnetic field. So depending on changes in those things, it can change how it is used.
But it adapts to the environment.
It adapts to the environment, exactly.
But wait, so hold on. It adapts once it's printed, or it adapts ad hoc for
after it's
that
printed.
After. So it's actually
After it's printed. So it's almost like a living.
Oh, wow.
Fabric. Yeah.
I can totally see space suits made.
Yeah. So I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So I found it through. I found many articles on this, but initially I found it through a NASA thing. But then there's this whole research paper that talks about it, and a lot of it's being done at Michigan University, or one case of it was being used at Michigan University, where 3 babies that had respiratory problems, they did a 4D printed implant, and evidently that heart then changes. I'm sorry, the respiratory system changes based on the bodies of those children. Let's see.
So it adapts after it's implanted in their bodies. It then adapts itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild stuff. And I mean, I was interested in. I was doing all kinds of searches on technology and fabric because I touched on it in the last episode, and I thought, I wonder if there's technology that makes fabric change color. And in fact, it's the same technology the U.S. military is using, that it changes color based on the environment that a soldier's in, and it can actually then also regulate the perspiration and adjust the temperature of the suit because it can expand and extract. I guess I should describe it's basically, those can't see this, but it's a collection of squares connected together that then create this fabric. And we'll put the link in the show notes for everybody to look at this. But basically, you can, based on the temperature of the soldier and their perspiration level, and perhaps even their pulse, they might be in a high tense situation. They might need to have a little extra breathing space in their uniform, so it can adjust for that. And then when it cools down, it can adjust back. And I mean, the NASA suits are used to help protect flying objects in space, hitting astronauts and protecting their body. So it's really rigid as well. So those are
That's amazing, and it's a chameleon too, right? It's the literally chameleon camo, and then if I'm in the desert,
as well, yeah,
it goes brown. If I happen to be against the ocean and want to hide, it'll turn a blue green.
Yeah, that was another thing I looked for, and I was looking doing all these different searches, colors, chameleon, all that stuff, and then this came up, which happens to do all of that, which is.
You know who's been wearing that stuff for many years? Superheroes.
That's right.
Oh,
right.
You're right. Exactly. They've had this for Spider-Man's had this for like decades. I wonder
if that was the inspiration for this.
Well, you know what it is that many comics as sci-fi writers, they kind of know what could happen or not. They're not just okay, well, that will be magic, right? Let's go back to that. Like, okay, I can talk about magic, or I can talk about things that potentially, based on our evolution of knowledge and technology, could actually happen. And think about robots being one of that, Asimov one for many, and all the the Marvel universe and comics, they've projected many of these things. But wow, I mean, that is pretty cool.
Really wow. And everything we've talked about to this point has been clothing. But there are other, so kind of back to the drones, Airbus is using or they're exploring the potential to use it to create the structure around their engines to respond to the heat of the engine. So again, for airflow and cooling to keep the engines cool, the material responds to the environment.
So even strong resistant material like metallic strong, aluminum strong, fiberglass strong, it's probably more like fiberglass than anything else, probably like light but resistant and
right.
Wow, I'm impressed.
It's
I
have a ton of links, so we can put as many as we want.
Notes, but let's do that because it's super cool.
It is super cool.
I mean, I just can't think about shrinking and getting bigger and, I mean, stronger, lighter, like you said. Is it battle mode or is chilling mode? Think about Middle Age when they had to wear this crazy metallic armors, and most of the time they would die because it was too hot in there than because somebody struck at them. So that's cool.
And I'm really fascinated by where the intelligence or the action comes from, because there has to be something embedded in it. Right? Robots they seem kind of cool, but they're programmed to do what they do.
And that's basically what the fourth dimension is the programming language embedded in the fabric.
Wow. Oh my God, which is wild. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I presume each one is purpose built for a specific function. Right. Mm-hmm. This one changes colors, or maybe it has 2 or 3, like the soldier's uniform might regulate temperature and change color. But I can't imagine it, again, like we talk about in many things, doing all of it intelligently yet.
So I got it. Now we've got a whole other area that we're going to have to threat model. We have to test all that code.
I didn't even go there yet.
I know, right? And I'm thinking about like, what if we need to update the code? Can you do OTA to this like fabric and the?
That's right.
It's a whole new world. All
right, that's very cool. What blows my mind?
Blew my mind for sure.
What it blows my mind is that here it goes. Marco's going to space. I've been reading a couple of NASA historical book lately. Actually, not reading. Somebody read it to me. Audible. And one is called the Race for Space. There is the whole competition between, the early 60s when we decided to go to the moon, and the Russians were doing everything before the American, taking more
They
risk.
would send Spot instead of Leica nowadays. Leica.
It would have been better, because Leica didn't end up well, unfortunately. After that, 2 other dogs did, but Leica didn't actually make it. So I would have rather have a robot there. But think about the man and that really experimented this. I mean, things have always been borderline to go crazy. The first walk outside. I mean, I can't even think I think it was in '66 during the Gemini program, but also Russia did it first. And I know that there was like some really big borderline deadly situation there. And when you look at what the space should look at the time, and now 55 years later, right, not even 54, you're talking about a suit that pretty much morph according to the need that you have. That's not that long ago. It's impressive what we can achieve if we put our head into the right things, right, instead of in the bad things. So I don't see anything negative in it, well, except for world domination. But that's, what are you going to use it for good or for bad? Military? I'm sure there's some military research based on this still, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's less the use. I'm worried about the misuse. Like, I'm thinking about it, because anytime you have code somewhere, right, someone's going to figure out what's the misuse case.
Let's heat that suit up.
Yeah. Or what's the vulnerability and how they write?
Let's tighten the waistline.
But,
making it tighter while it's in air and taking that plane down, for example.
We can't blame
Speaking
technology.
of dark, but
I think this is at the core of our conversation. If people haven't figured that out, we go dark, we get the bad side, the good side, but technically, we all agree that technology is great, technically. Humanly, as a human, we're the one that decide that. So everything.
Yeah.
The V2 rockets, they were invented to bomb London. And then they were converted into putting men in space. It's the same rocket, except one has a warhead on it, and the other one is the warhead is not a warhead, but the head is used for scientific use and then carrying people. Again, clear example of how do you use technology is up to us. Yeah. Mine, instead, it's a little bit more philosophical. So we kind of mentioned this a few times, because I think after 10 episodes, we went kind of all over the places. And Diana, you brought up giving a voice to Bourdain in 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
It was an artificial intelligence reproducing the voice, but it was reading things that he wrote. And we said, is that right? Yeah. Is that wrong? Yeah. We also know about situation where holograms been doing concert, like Tupac's, for example. We know
and I think
how
Celine's got one coming too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Tupac. Right? Yeah, I mean, dead people. Dead people.
Well, I don't think Celine isn't dead.
No, but I'm referring to dead people.
Okay.
Because the question here is this article in the Wall Street Journal, and I've seen many articles. I'm very interested in this. Is could AI keep people alive after death? Can you upload yourself in a computer? Can you bring all the social interaction that you had into a bot, into even a robot? Can you?
That guy who programmed his dead girlfriend, is that the one?
That's one, but I wasn't going there, because I definitely want to have episodes about this. and you can go totally technical, and you can go totally philosophical on this. So this, I wanted to have a general conversation, because of course you can go and define what is death, what is life, what is consciousness, what is awareness, and all of that. But right now, there is a lot of study that are made into try to have version of people after death. And Microsoft is actually doing a lot of that. There are some bots called Replica and other ones called Hereafter AI, where you pretty much create your kind of avatar and you upload a lot of information, and eventually it kind of start behaving like you. So it's you after you die, and people can interact with that, taking your personality. I don't know how much you guys know about this, but
did William Shatner do one of them?
I can tell you the name is Dustin Abramson and Joseph Johnson. It's
described conversational. He's 90, and I thought that he had done something like this, where they were trying to make a version of him. He did it all. He sat there and sat for hours of video recording because he wants this, but that then after he's dead, people will be able to interact with Captain Kirk, when he's as what.
Well, that's the concept.
Because I read about that one.
No, this I was mentioning the Microsoft research, for example. You lost me? No, what? You there? Am I here?
You're there.
I'm here.
Diana's there-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's like, who disappeared? Am I dead? You there? Okay. Are we on? We live?
Yeah, I can hear. I don't know if I cut out or if you cut out. I don't know what happened.
Nobody cut out. I think you thought we cut out.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
It's okay. It's live. So whatever.
So is it William Shatner?
Well, I don't know.
This is exactly what's going to happen when somebody's trying to interact with us after we're gone. They're going, wait.
These guys are
what did they say? The internet went out.
The internet went out.
Which is a moment of recording of that person's life is just gone. The internet went out.
So let me get to the point here without going into the technicality of it, which is probably possible. You can input a lot of data. You can recreate some kind of a feeling of who you are, who you're not, but how real is that? So maybe Diana, I'd like to know more about that one, about the guy that recreated his girlfriend thing and how real that is. But a big part of this conversation is how, if you could bring back, let's say, Abraham Lincoln today, and he could speak according to his beliefs and what is the reality of things today, and if you're doing things right or wrong according to him. So as a politician, in this article, they say, that technically influential people that could talk to us from the afterlife could still be able to influence our decisions, for example. As you could use actors playing in movies, we mentioned that last time, or think about bringing to life again characters that they want to, that now they want to live forever. Let's say another, like a politician or anyone else. How, my question is, apart from the fact that it's technically possible or not, and how we define life and how we define death, and is it like a body needs to be alive, and can it just be the brain, and is it really ever going to be your brain, because we don't even know how our own brain works. But the thing is, my question is, how would it affect today's life if the people from the past could come back and be part of it? Or people today, they never die. So instead of being in books, they're actually interacting with you to a certain level.
So the place where my mind went right away is something I was reading earlier about the Constitution and how the Constitution was designed by the authors of the Constitution to be a living document. And I think it was Thomas Jefferson at one point wrote, he really didn't anticipate it to last more than 20 or so years, because the thinking was that we're going to make a framework and the world will change and people will change, and we'll need to go back and we'll revisit this framework and update it. But where we've gotten to now with the Constitution is that, other than the 1992 passage of congressional pay, which had originally been ratified in like 1789 or something crazy, we haven't had anything for decades and decades. So rather than being this living amended document, it's become kind of set in stone. And many people support that because they say, well, the framers of the Constitution wouldn't have wanted to change. We've got written proof that they did see this as something that was supposed to be alive and to change. But would it be better if Thomas Jefferson was actually saying that to someone, or would people just go, well, that's not really Thomas Jefferson? Even if we took his actual words, his writing of it's intended to change, I think every 20 years or 19 years, I think is what he wrote, should be. I mean, maybe certain things that people wrote would land better if, instead of reading it, they could interact. But how much would we have to then fill in the blank between what they've actually written and we could feed in, so that we know that they're representing that person, versus starting to make things up or extrapolate,
Hey, here comes the cybersecurity, like manipulating. So like create a fake reality.
Yeah.
That actually, I can see that. I can totally see that in a dystopian world. Totally possible. Yeah. Sean, what do you think?
But even let's assume that everything is pure.
I like that.
Pure and white.
Pure and ethical.
So the reason for it would be to have more information, so perhaps we can make better decisions, right? Or have a better experience in something without having that data. With it, we have a better experience in something than if we didn't have that data or that information or that voice, whatever it is. And so my question is, do we, two parts, do we need that to have those experiences and make those decisions, or can we do it without? And if we then start to rely on it, do we have enough? Because I don't know if a good example, but you might have blue side presented digitally for us in the future and the red side missing. How good is that going to be, right? Or vice versa. Or I guess the other question is, I always go back to context and perspective, right? So things have changed clearly in a couple hundred years, if we use the Abraham Lincoln example. The context of those statements or those positions or that information and the perspective of the people presenting that information probably don't match current state of affairs. So
really good point.
I don't know. I think if it's just an experiential thing for ourselves, it's one thing. But I think if we're using it to make decisions for each other and for society, I get a little nervous.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, if it's just you and a loved one decide that it would be nice to be able to have some sort of connection with each other after one of you goes, and you record whatever number of hours of video, and then you can the AI helps you to have a conversation, interact. That's a very different, and so it's just comfort. It's an AI version. That's very different than like my use case, where I was like, what if we could get Thomas Jefferson to convince people what he really wanted to have done with the Constitution, which is a whole other
so here's the thing. Here's the thing. How real is real, and how much of that truth we are okay with. Stay with me. So I can't bring back Lincoln or Jefferson because I don't even have enough information apart from historian, which they're very well known to distort reality. There are plenty of cases of histories being and how now we are rediscovering things that, hey, this dude wasn't that cool in the end, like this is the truth about it. But now that we are all connected, we're talking about people, even everyday people, that may decide, well, I want to be in a situation where I want to have a memory of myself that people can interact with, or so you can take all your interaction, recorded audio. I mean, you have to do it on purpose. At a certain point, you have to say, okay, I'm going to start, like you said about Scheffner or whatever, like I'm going to start uploading everything. Data is the key for all of this, right? And then the artificial intelligence come in as not just keeping you, preserving who you are, but technically evolving you based on new event and new fact. Is what would Diana think now that this thing happened, based on the persona that she is? It's kind of like having a clone. Like, have a clone next to you and be like, is he learning? Is he really seeing the things the way I see? I mean, what if you could check if this person is developing the same way that you do or not?
How would your mother or father respond to this situation?
And that's the philosophical thing, because in a way we have certain traits of our persona that we carry all our life. On the other hand, some event in our life could change us quite a bit. So which one do we accept if we accept that somebody is still living forever? And if I unplug that, is that this person dying once for all? If the hard drive goes banana? There's an example of this robot that is, an animatronic pretty much. Now I'm very Disney old school here, but like a robot that is talking, and the journalist is asking, well, are you afraid to die? And she's like, well, yeah, of course I'm afraid that all of a sudden my hard drive get deleted. So for that, the death would be the erasing the hard drive. And for us, what is it? So we don't even know in the end what is death. Or would it be just cool to have a preserved memory of someone that we love, or an artist that we love? And that's the next step of the evolution is, when you read a book and the book has been written, Shakespeare, for example, you can read Shakespeare, you can see, that's his legacy, that's his avatar. It's his book. It's a play and drama and other artists wrote. Or when you have a song that is still playing, Mozart, Vivaldi, or Scarlatti, if you want to go even earlier. I mean, that's their living forever. So how is artificial intelligence? Do we want to talk to people or just have memories?
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, what if this had existed back then? You could have had Shakespeare reading one of the plays, or Beethoven playing a couple of famous works, and that would be a very cool experience we could all have. But you're right, if it's a loved one, then we change. Some things about us are the same and set in stone, but our opinions change over time. People become, they also grow too. So yeah, instead you'd have that person frozen. So it's interesting. Could we use it in a limited way with like a famous person we interview, like William Shatner? I think people were just asking him interview kind of questions, and now people in the future can interact with this avatar, but it's not, no one is going to think, well, that's really William Shatner, or even ask him, if you were alive today, William, would you posit a solution to this very current event that didn't exist when you were around? Then we're getting into it.
So are we expecting too much? Is that even a possibility? One question here, and Sean, I'm going to ask you this to you. In the article, they say that sometimes people that are the core, the soul, the founder of a company, talk about Steve Jobs for Apple or Elon Musk, and Elon Musk could upload, Jeff Bezos, they could upload all themselves into a very powerful AI-driven robot and say, when I'm gone, this thing is gonna run the company according to my principle. And would you take this? Would you take that as a guide for your employees and management and all of that?
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting perspective, because I'm gonna first make a comment that back to Shakespeare. If Shakespeare read the play as he wanted it, I wonder if we would have as much creativity around his work. If it was otherwise, people would try to replicate exactly, right? Kind of mimicking a song, right?
Creative freedom
versus making it your own without having some preconceived notion what it is. So in terms of the business, yeah, I don't know. I think it's dynamic, and I know I'll use an example of, and I forget what CC and R's are, what stand for, but it's related to property and conveyances and regulations or something like that. I can't remember. Apologies for those who are yelling on the other
Diana,
side.
you're gonna Google that?
It's related to property. What can and can't be done with respect to property. And I know a good friend who bought property that basically one of the bylaws is that a certain ethnic group is not allowed to buy property in this subdivision. And it's like, and he happens to be part of that ethnic group. So my point is, there are rules for things that don't always keep up with the times, and I'm wondering if
that's for sure.
So if and this kind of goes back to everything else we were talking about earlier, but if somebody says run my company this way, and if that's the only law that's going to be followed, regardless if it's written in a document or presented in an avatar form with some interaction, I'd be afraid to. It's easy to, I don't know how easy it is, but probably difficult or easier to change a written document, right? With certain things versus somebody who happens to be virtually living. I don't know. It's really strange. It's really strange. I don't even know how to respond.
No, I think you responded. It is what Diana said about the Constitution, and is what about the awareness of learning about evolving. That you evolve, and if they whomever they are, artificial intelligence, Sean or bot Marco or robotic Diana, can keep really living and evolving and being analytics about things and passionate about things, then yes, that probably you do live forever. I don't think you can ever do that.
Perhaps the static document is the past that's holding us back, and perhaps the dynamic laws or virtual world that changes based on context and activities and events.
Well, which is exactly what Diana said. The Constitution, seen not only the American Bible, but any constitution, any law, you can now look at a law made about the internet when the internet didn't exist. You can't refer to certain communication law. I mean, law needs to change with the time and with technology, and so the Constitution, and so many other things. So I think that this is a great conversation to keep carrying in the future, because we're about to hit the hour, but I think that is beautiful. It's almost like an extension of a photographic album and a tape that I found, like an interview I did with my uncle many years ago on a tape, and I heard me asking him questions for a paper I did in college, and it was cool. I mean, it brought me so many memory, many more than looking at him in a picture, for example. So that added layer of, third dimension, fourth dimension, that it can count with the videos, seeing this person, and maybe, I don't know, maybe being more real. That's a really cool thing, but I wouldn't call it afterlife. as living forever. I would say preserve who you are and the memory of this person.
Yeah. Yeah. That difference between is this just a different kind of photo album or video versus if we're now going to try and interact with them and get advice from the CEO 20 years after they've died about how the company should be run.
Yeah. I was actually watching the Imagineers, a documentary about Disney, the people in charge of Disneyland and Disney World, and it was a separate company. And when Walter Disney died, the chapter after that is called
Frozen now?
What
Is
would
he just frozen? I think he's just frozen.
Sean?
Really bad.
No, he's back.
Is Walt Disney frozen?
Oh, because Sean
I'm
was
not frozen.
frozen in the video. No, he, I think I had the problem here.
No. I mean, I thought Walt Disney, like, I think he's cryogenically. He's waiting for.
There was a legend that he was kept frozen in the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
That's in the documentary. But the whole thing was like people were asking themselves, what would Walter do? Because they were building the Orlando one as when he passed away, and his brother took over, and they were trying to carry on the company. Say, what would he do? And then they realized, we know what would he do. We can't keep thinking the way he does, but there is some pillar of, the way that he wanted this pillar of the Disney world in terms of the company, that we know we got to follow that because that's what it is. But you can't expect him to tell you what to do. He kind of did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and did I go dark enough for today?
No.
I don't think that was
I
that
can
dark.
go darker. Okay, I can go darker. Next time, be darker.
Next time.
All right. Well, next time, and so we're gonna say goodbye right now. We are in the hour again, and Diana, thank you very much for always being part of this. Hopefully, one of these days we'll bring a guest.
We're still trying.
We're still trying today.
It's like that somebody keeps going on a late night show saying they have a clip of their new movie, and then they have some old movie from the 80s that's ridiculous. Like, that's it. Us with like a guest. We're just like, wait till next time.
I know.
And then it's us.
I am gonna.
Well, it's
I'm
like
gonna.
Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon. Right?
Oh, is that it? Yeah.
I think it's our ongoing joke that there'll be a guest next time.
That's right.
No, nobody wants to come here with us. I think they know enough now that nobody wants to handle the three of us for an hour, or maybe yes. Well, if you want to be on the conversation with us, let us know. And if you have any questions, any ideas, any news, please comment, share it, let us know, and we'll see you for sure next Thursday, maybe at the same time, maybe not. Who knows? Maybe we have a guest.
Streaming live, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook.
Peace, and in the broadcast.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Through the TechVine podcast. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.